This is Bruce. Such a cute guy. Okay, Brucey. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and start. For those that don't know, my name is Catherine, this is Bruce. Just here to check up on him, let him out a little bit, brush him out. I'm thinking we might do like a how to make sure tack is fitted correctly to your horses. I might just put a saddle on him for a second and then take it off. We're definitely gonna let him out. Let him chill, let him just be a horse. We're going to start with some grooming because that's the most important thing you need to do before saddling a horse. You need to make sure that there's no dust, dirt, and grime where their girth goes or where their saddle pad or saddle will sit, because that could be really uncomfortable for the horses. I'm going to go ahead and grab some brushes and we're going to groom him down. Come on, Bruce. Yeah, sugar boy. I love this horse. He's awesome. So this is the first brush I use. This is called a curry comb. They have the wire ones that I like to use during like the summer, but these ones I really like because they get a lot of hair out. You want to use it in a circular motion to get all high. He doesn't have any like mud spots on him, and I'm not going to use it hard on his legs. I'm barely even touching his legs with it. But the spots that he does have, I am going to focus on those spots, but the other spots I'm just going to lightly go over. I'm going to make sure the girth line is super clean. This is also just a really good way to build a relationship with your horse. Like, who doesn't like getting scratches and massages? Like, it's the best. The more I get him out, the more I brush him down, the more he starts to enjoy. He'll sit there, he'll lick, he'll start relaxing his leg. It's just a good way to build a relationship with them, you know? This is something I usually do as well. I did with him, especially when I first introduced myself to him and we were getting to know each other, was I was introducing everything that I grabbed and would bring to him. I would bring in front of his face first and make sure that he would, you know, either smell it or touch it or be okay with it before I introduced it or brushed him with it, because it was kind of my way of like getting permission from him. Something that I do a lot that you probably shouldn't do and probably isn't the safest is I like to cross under right here. And that's not the safest thing to do. I wouldn't do that. If anything, just pass from the front, come in front of them, go to the other side. So I grabbed a hard brush and a soft brush. The only difference is the hard brush, the bristles are a lot harder and like pokier, and the soft brush is very, very soft. Going with the hard brush first, just to get some of that super dusty, dirty stuff underneath that the soft brush won't quite get. You never want to walk directly behind a horse, especially if you're new to horses and you don't know much. If you are or you do need to walk behind them, stay as close to their body as possible. Make sure they know you're there and walk as close to their bum as possible. They'll leave like little patches of like mud or dirt and I'm like, clean it. I think it's my OCD or something. We're gonna grab our soft brush. Look and chew. What I want. I use just a normal hairbrush. Now, for the picking feet, I always like to make sure I pick their feet before and after I ride or do anything with them, just to make sure there's no rocks or anything stuck in their feet, because that could cause sores later on. So dude, I've seen this book everywhere.
I've heard it's so good.
When you're doing that, just making sure that you're setting their feet down softly. He's getting a little antsy, so I'm gonna try to speed it up a little bit. She's like, is that back leg hurting him? He had a huge rock. So that's why I always check. Imagine if we didn't check that and we went and rode him and he like misbehaved or something, and it was really just he had this huge rock stuck in his foot. So, okay, so I'm gonna quickly put these back, maybe grab him a little treat. He's very food motivated. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna grab the saddle and I'm just gonna explain saddle fit a little bit. I'm just gonna step this on him. One thing I do is I line up, it has this middle line right here. I line up that middle line with the middle of their back. And usually they'll have like a little line, sometimes going down the back of their bum. And I just line that up with that line as well and make sure, same thing at the wither, sometimes they can get a little lopsided, but for the most part, if you do that, it should be good. I also like to make sure the saddle pad is sitting about halfway through where his shoulder is at, like that halfway mark. Not too far forward, not too far back. As you can see right here, this is where the cinch usually goes, so you can use that as kind of a marker as well. You yawning? Good boy. So that line goes right through the middle of his shoulder. This on the withers, we're making sure that this line lines up with the middle of his back right here. Making sure that lines up. And just making sure that it looks pretty equal on both sides. Looking good. Could probably back a little bit. Looking good. So one thing you want to make sure right here is that you can kind of fit your fingers under that saddle, so they're not pinching on those withers at all. Also, if you can see, I put about three finger spaces up here, so I kind of pulled that pad up so it's not pinching his withers as well. Making sure it's centered, that these are centered with one another, that it's laying flat. You also want to make sure that there's enough room back here so that the saddle's not touching anywhere on their skin without the pad underneath. For the cinch, I put it back right here. See, there's some room from his shoulder. Nothing's pinching him. Also, I can stick fingers in here, which I can probably tighten this a little bit, but you don't want to make it like like super tight where they hate their lives. But tight enough where the saddle's not gonna move, you're not gonna fall off, nothing like that. Also, an important thing that a lot of people forget is making sure that these line up with the middle of the horse. So that's how a saddle fits. Good boy.